Hey guys, welcome to Redline Talk Show. I'm here today with Illyriana and our special guest. Her name is Dearta Logu Fusaro, an accomplished author of a book called The Illyrian Way. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, Dearta, you were born in Shkodër and immigrated to the United States when you were just 12 years old.
Yeah.
How did that transition shape your sense of identity and belonging?
It helped that I had learned a few words in English so I could communicate with my friends in school. My parents took me to school a day after I arrived at JFK, so that's how excited they were to get me
Oh, wow.
into the American community. And to my awe, most of my friends, my school friends that day, were non-Americans in the sense of what I thought. They were all immigrant Americans, same as me. And so all of a sudden, a weekend, I had a friend from Kosovo, a friend from Montenegro, two places that I had never been to before but heard so much about. But I also had a friend from India, a friend from Ghana, a friend from Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
And that was completely different compared to my everyday life in Shkodër, where we were post-communist kids. We dressed the same still.
Right.
We had the same furniture at our homes. We had similar conversations. Yeah.
Well, I had the opposite experience actually. When I came here, I had no immigrant. I was the only immigrant in the school, and everyone kind of like, oh, who is this kid? So totally different experience. And everyone was American. They did not even know who Albania was at the time when I moved, but that's good to hear. So tell us a little bit about your inspiration. Why did you start writing this book, and why now?
My husband and I had done two big long-distance hikes prior to the Illyrian Way.
Okay.
And this was our third hike. We had learned through our first hike, which was the Camino de Santiago from France to Spain, how important it was to be with community, walking, different from our corporate jobs.
Yeah.
And what that meant for us physically, but also to get to know the world and people when they're most vulnerable, but also when they're most open to making connections. And so we knew that we wanted to continue doing long distance hikes. Our plan is to do them every 5 years. And
oh, very nice. So let's just pause there for a second. When you say long distance, how long are we talking about? Like, how long is this hike?
I believe long distance is anything over 100 kilometers or a bit more.
In one day?
Overall. You do it in a sequence of multiple days.
Okay.
So you're camping throughout the hike as well?
You're camping throughout. Depends on which hiking trip you choose to do. There's also houses that you can stay, whether you want to do raw hiking where you're bringing your own tent and backpack, or you're also sleeping over at people's houses or guest houses or hotels.
It's almost like a full experience of,
You're totally immersing yourself in the whole, just not just the land, but the people, the culture, everything about it.
Yeah. So you give up your senses of comfort in order to find yourself to be more comfortable after days of hiking.
I like that. Yeah. So have you, because hiking is very interesting to me. We tried it once and we failed miserably. So
we did not fail.
Yes, we did.
We did not.
Yes, we did.
What's the definition of failing?
So we gave up going down the hill. So we had people with our motorbikes drive us, take us down because our legs just gave up.
I didn't see that as a fail. I thought that as an opportunity to experience being on a motorcycle going down a mountain. It was
always fun, but it was like, you know what? I don't want to be those guys walking all the way down again, so I'm good.
But everyone was jealous of us.
But I do want to understand more about the hiking. So you guys actually, do you sleep like in camping gear and all that?
No, so we do, although it's not called glamping that much, but we do tend to sleep in other people's homes as much as possible.
And you're fine with that? That doesn't, You're not afraid they're going to kill you in the middle of the night or something?
No, it hasn't happened.
Oh, okay.
It hasn't happened yet. If anything, what I've seen is that they are so honored that we're willing to put ourselves in their territory and to embrace their nature and their wild
and their way of living.
Yeah. And they're very caring of us. They're often worried about, whether we're going to come back from a long mountain hike or not.
Because they probably don't do it themselves.
They probably did it when they were kids, but folks that live in the mountains, they're not walking the mountains for fun like I am. They're walking them only if they have to.
I want to talk a little bit more about the inspiration you had to actually take this journey to go through 7 Balkan countries and do hiking in each one. Tell us a little bit about what inspired you to even schedule this journey.
Yeah, sure. Prior to planning for the Illyrian Way, we had gotten some bad news from the family side. My father got diagnosed with cancer. And after a few conversations, the inevitable topic came up about where shall his soul rest when that day comes. And there was no doubt that it would be Albania. And that sent me for a series of soul-searching moments myself to try to figure out what is the meaning of home. I have established my home here in Wilton, Connecticut. I'm happy as a clam. I love the duality of being Albanian and American, but I had never thought of home being Albania in a place far away where I can't see my dad or my family as often. And so I've asked my husband if we can embark on the Illyrian Way, and he said, yes, let's do it. And when we were planning it, it seemed that just going to Albania or Albania and Kosovo or in only the Albanian territories or, I don't know, ethnic Albanian territories.
To be politically correct.
Wasn't good enough because I was raised with rhetorics of or narratives of Albanians are sort of the underdog of Western Balkans, and what does that mean? And are there people out there that are always thinking about doing us harm, or do they also belong in the Balkans just as much as we do?
Yeah.
And so this theme of belonging became bigger and bigger, and I wanted to see for myself what that meant as an Albanian, but also as a Balkan identity.
This experience you weren't intending to actually write a book about this experience. You were just trying to find your own belonging, and it eventually turned and evolved into this book.
Yes.
It's interesting the name that you chose, the Illyrian Way. What made you choose that name specifically?
I think it was July. We had been hiking for a month and a half already. It was 4th of July. We were in Bosnia, on the Serbian side of Bosnia, and we had plenty of time to discuss alone in the mountains topics.
Yeah. Okay.
And so my husband and I were talking about, wow, 4th of July, this is a different 4th of July celebration for us as Americans. Yeah. Everyone is doing hot dogs and burgers and fireworks, and we're here completely alone in the mountains. And somehow we talked about independence from what? And we talked about Native Americans, and then it just hit me that I was a native Balkan person and I was Illyrian. And we were imagining what these fields and valleys and mountains look like when Illyrians were the natives. Yeah. And then slowly that day we realized that all along the way from Slovenia to Croatia to now Bosnia, we had seen Illyrian remnants. In one way or another. And, this is centuries ago, and they were still there and available for us to see.
A reminder.
Yeah.
Here's where I don't like the word Balkan, because to me it should be the Illyrian Peninsula instead of the Balkan, because that's what it was called back in the day. because for that reason, like you said, you have Illyrian artifacts and history still today that is still visible, and you can, I don't know why we call it Balkan. Balkan is not I don't know what it means, but it should be the Illyrian Peninsula, is the whole area, which I love the title. So now you said 5 countries that you visited, or 7?
7.
7. Which are which 7 countries?
Slovenia,
Okay.
Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Kosovo, North Macedonia, and Albania.
Very nice.
The Balkans are often discussed through politics and history, but you approach them through nature, personal reflection. How did that lens change your perspective of this region?
I didn't have this lens going into the region. The region gave me this lens, basically.
Okay.
That's very deep. Elaborate.
As I was telling my family, my friends, network that we were going to 7 Balkan countries for 3 months, there were many comments about, where is that?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Okay.
Isn't it war-ridden? Isn't it corrupt? Are you worried about your safety? And of course, my husband and I thought about all of these questions, but we wanted to embark upon it and have that experience. And as I mentioned, we had done it before in France and Spain. We had done it in Nepal. And I've also traveled to many countries that are war-ridden or with conflict, such as Somalia or Iraq.
Oh, wow, really? You've been to those countries?
Yeah, during my time at Save the Children, yeah.
That's very nice.
And so I wasn't as scared, but when it's closer to home, you have a different type of apprehension, because now you're not the foreigner who's visiting a land of conflict. You are a native who's visiting the land of conflict.
It's a different feeling.
Yeah. And in a way, I wanted to validate that our identities, our current identities in the Balkans, is larger than just poverty and corruption and conflict. But I wasn't sure about it. And definitely, I have found a lot more joy and a lot more art and culture and cuisine that U.S., but also the Western world knows about the Balkans.
This is interesting. Do you feel now more prideful because you actually experienced, your history, from the old ages till now? You're like, oh, okay, so it's true. It's not just a myth that Albanians were there for a long, long time. You actually can see it.
I feel more pride of being from the Balkans and specifically Albania.
The Illyrian Peninsula.
Yeah, I think I was born and raised with the Albanian pride, but I wasn't born and raised with the pride of the Balkans. And so I saw my Albanian identity as separate from the Balkans until I walked it and tasted it and saw it. And I saw amazing similarities across all of us. And so I see it as a uniting factor.
Right.
So, that's the pride that I feel now, that it's not just me versus the other Balkan countries, that we are all in it together. And we are different from Western Europe in our cuisine and in our dances and in our culture and the way our architecture. And we have way many more things in common than differences.
So I wanna talk about that specifically, because you said that we are very similar, all of us. What are some of those similarities? There has to be a common denominator, right?
Yeah, hospitality.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
The pride in the cuisine. So burek was a very common kebabs, and you call it cevapcici or cebab or chofte or pleskavica. It's the same ingredients, the same meat, and the same smiles around cooking it, and the pride to share that with your guests.
Yeah.
Music as well. So I saw often many parties in the street or at the homes or people walking by that are Balkan music and tunes is something that is played
Yeah.
across the mountaintops and in villages and in cities. And the world doesn't know much about that. They don't know what Balkan music is. And sometimes us ourselves try to separate the music between, Albanian or Ottoman tunes,
because again, everyone I think is fighting for an identity,
Yeah.
right, within the Balkan region,
Yeah.
because it's there's a lot of intermixing history there, right, between different countries and ethnic groups and all that. But essentially, the Illyrians, right, were the first that lived there, and you can actually see. Have you actually seen physical evidence of their existence?
Yeah.
Can you share more about?
I've seen the way that food is prepared. For example, if you read about Illyrian ways of cooking, there was a lot of preserved food, kind of like our torche or pickled.
Mishifat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even meat.
Yeah.
The raki, or the wine that all of Europe has. There's also been found pottery full of ancient wine from the Illyrian times. In Sarajevo, we went to the Museum of Sarajevo. We saw an Illyrian canoe. It was amazingly preserved. And there's a picture of it in the book. We can take a look later.
Very nice. Yeah.
And then there were names. So in Slovenia, there was an entire town that was called Ilirska Bistrica.
Wow. Okay.
And in Croatia, so this is now bringing Illyria back to modern life, but in Croatia, there were water glasses in a restaurant with the Illyrian helmet embossed in them.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So you can see actual evidence throughout the entire region of Illyrian, whether it's artifacts, clothing, music, food. What about actual ancient sites?
We've been to a few
like ruins and stuff.
Yeah, we went. Yeah,
and that's also relevant.
In Osanici in Montenegro, and a few other sites that you can hike around, take a quick 1-hour detour to see a bit more. And then in Albania, there's 4 sites near one of my family's homes in the mountains, where there's 4 Illyrian sites that have been
in Albania is all over. Did you find? Well, this is an interesting question. Where did you find the most, I would say, physical presence of Illyrian, sites? Which country that you can think of?
Because I didn't have the lens of looking for the Illyrian Way.
Closer? Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. So it was an afterthought. If I were to do it again, I'd probably be more intentional about
the sites.
Yeah.
That would be interesting, just to see where was the most dense, I guess, population at the time. Because I know in Albania there's all over sites, but I don't know in these other regions.
Yeah. Dearta, you described the Illyrian Way as both a celebration of nature's drama and human grace. What role did encounters with people play in shaping your narrative of your book?
Nature's drama... it's a poetic way of saying that nature, of course, will take care of you. But if you know how to read or interpret its rules. And so there's, when you're hiking, long trail hiking, you have basic necessities in the first phase of it, of you're thinking about food, you're thinking about water, you're thinking about your body aches, and you can't really lift your head up to look at the mountains or the smell of the wildflowers. And then once you move into the second phase, you think more about looking up. And that's where the emotionality comes in. You get very emotional about, wow, now that my feet don't hurt anymore, or I can't feel them anymore, look what's ahead of me. And I've crossed 3 mountains today, and I can look back and know that I was okay. And then you start hearing the animal sounds, and you start depicting the differences between lambs or wolves or mountain goats or whatever.
Okay.
And then after that, the third, once you're sort of full of appreciating nature, you start thinking about yourself and what this means for you. And that's where you sort of get to your third phase, the spiritual phase of it. And human grace means that we ourselves don't give enough grace to ourselves, right? So I was very frustrated with myself during phase one. I should have prepared better. Why am I hurting so much?
Yeah.
Or once I got to the second phase, how come I don't think about nature at home? Why do I have to climb 3 mountains a day to get to this point? And on the third phase, you realize that you have to have some grace for yourself.
So how has this experience transformed you as a person today here in the United States, in Connecticut, in your everyday life?
Trying to keep up with being barefoot in the garden, trying to be mindful of the trees and the wind and the animals that visit my garden. Growing your own food gets you closer to our
I love that.
original. Our DNA is to be providers, right? So there's a different connection with food if you're growing it yourself.
It's not, going onto Amazon and having it delivered to your house.
Yeah. Well, also knowing you made it yourself, so you kind of know where it's coming from too. I think that helps.
Yeah.
I'm just so.
I'm enjoying this conversation.
I really wish that I was with you guys. I wanted to be a fly on your wing.
Well, I think that is aside from our experience. So my husband Justin and I, we did it. It will forever be here. But the intention around writing about it is so you can be part of it by reading it. Yeah. And then you can embark on your own Illyrian way, whichever way you want next time.
Let's talk about the actual book and just how you designed it. There's a lot of meaning behind this, just even the cover and the binding that you chose. Can you talk to us a little bit about this and what inspired you to make the book the way you did?
So I take no credit for the design of the book. There's a great team behind me at 27-press.com. They are an incredible artistic group of people that have taken all of my emotions and intentions and turned them into something physical. So the only thing that I provided is the text and the photos that I took during the Illyrian Way. And then based on my experience, they came up with a design. And I wish they were here today to talk about it, but I can talk on their behalf.
I want to talk about your binding because I right away thought this was very, very interesting because you could actually see the different chapters all bundled together into one book.
Well, they're stitched to.
And they're all stitched together. So talk to us about that.
Sure. The one of the main designers, Terrain Brown, said that he's very captivated about my intentionality of creating a different chapter per country. That I wanted every country to sort of stand on their own with their own unique identity, however similar to the rest. I wanted them to stand out for themselves. And because of that, every country chapter has its own theme, its own color scheme, its own font.
I was going to say the font.
I was going to say, this is very clever. What made you choose the fonts for each country? I'm curious to know. I like the Albanian one out of all of them.
Yeah?
Yeah. Obviously. No,
there's a great team member at 27 Press, Sadia, who raised her hand to work on the fonts for each country. She is a great artist. She read through my text, basically, the author's boring Microsoft Word pages, And this was her design based on the text.
This actually shows a lot about your writing and what you kind of felt in each of the countries, because just through the text, I actually can feel each country through the text of what their personality.
Well, it has an identity.
Right? It's very interesting. I really hope you all go buy this book and just look at the font besides
well, not
the whole
font,
book.
just the whole book.
Not the whole book, but
start with the font.
Start with the font, because already just from the first page of the content page, I can actually feel what's going to be coming into this book.
Yeah.
And the picture, too. I love that you took.
What I like is that you did everything from, kind of documenting your journey, showing us the old maps of what things used to look like versus where we are today, including there's recipes here for, their food and the area that you were in and the experience of what you ate at that time. So I didn't very well thought out this book.
Look at this canoe.
Yeah.
This is the canoe you were telling me about?
Yeah, that's the Illyrian
Wow, that's
canoe.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So as I mentioned before, I didn't think about writing the Illyrian Way book while we were hiking.
Right.
But my sister Josephina told me that if I had 2 minutes to my day to jot down and journal what was most impressive about that day, that at the end, I will look back at those notes and appreciate the journey. And that's where I found the proverbs and the recipes that I included in the book. So I was watching the hosts that hosted us from one country to another in the mountains making food. And we would share recipes, how one makes burek or chabab or yogurt or...
That's cool.
And then I would jot down...
yogurt's a big one.
And I would jot down the differences, like, oh, I make yogurt this way. They said they make it this way.
Yeah. Did you find similarities with that, the recipes?
Yeah, very much so. Or the pétla, for example. So I'm from a household.
Let's not get into pétla because we're going to start a war.
Yeah.
Because what I call pétla, he calls something else.
Yeah.
And we go through this all the time because I'm from the north and he's from the south. Yeah. And we have this discussion all the time. Curious to know, what do you call pétla?
So my version of pétla is flat fried dough, very flat, but very scrumptious at the same time because you have eggs and perhaps some cheese in there. But they're flat. Whereas
that's
a lot
how he makes it flat. I'm like, this is not pétla. It has to be like fluffy, airy.
No, it's more like tulum or something.
Tulum is different.
Anyways, let's not talk about so you found similarities in your recipes, you're saying, when you talk to people? And what about the proverbs? I'm interested to know about that.
In our language, we call them fjallturta, right?
Fjallturta, yeah.
And so that they came up often, many of them. I didn't write a lot of them down. I don't speak any version of the Serbian language or the Slavic languages. And so there was a lot of Google Translate happening while we were communicating with the hosts. And so not all of them made it through to make sense, but as much as I could remember and jot down, I've added
anything
them to
stick out at you, a proverb?
I want to leave that as a surprise for the reader because I think
that. Now I'm going to go see it.
Because I think the ones that I've chosen, in my opinion, represent the character, the identity of that country, and then all together it represents the Western Balkans. And then same for the recipes. If someone doesn't want to literally hike the Illyrian Way, but wants to experience it through cuisine, they can just take a recipe from every chapter and make a Balkan feast, like right at their home.
Oh, that's a great idea, actually.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I never answered you about the binding. So the binding is on purpose to be seen because it represents the Balkan countries. They're all unique and they stand on their own, but they have this common thread around them.
That's holding them together to form this book.
Yeah.
Which is the Illyrian Way.
Yeah, it is the Illyrian Way. It's all about connecting.
I'm interested to know more about a little bit about the experiences that you actually had with the people on the ground. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Was there any similarities?
Or Is there the most memorable experience you want to tell us about?
Yeah. What are some more worst and most memorable experiences, or best?
Every chapter has a long story that describes my experience with a local family in that country. So I've definitely written a lot of them down. Say my favorite, it's so hard to say because it also depends how tired or excited I was that day and willing to take things in. But
just one of them.
One of them, we were in northern Macedonia in a town called Galichnik. It's known for the wedding feasts that they do there annually. My husband and I happened to be there for our wedding anniversary as well.
Oh, nice.
And the day of our wedding anniversary, I believe, we went up the mountain, Medenica Mountain, and we came down, and then we wanted to go for a quad trek that the host family had quads, and they offered them as an additional experience if you wanted to experience them.
See, that's like us taking the mopeds.
Sorry. Yeah. But I don't want you to think of this as a big tourist place. They had 4 quads, and there were maybe 2 to 3 foreign hikers a week that would pass by. So this is not a huge establishment. But they were very excited to get us to stay more and to appreciate their town. And this was the theme everywhere we went. We wish we could have stayed more everywhere, but we had to keep moving.
Yeah.
So we took the quad tour up a few mountains and down a valley to taste some cheese, some white cheese.
Feta cheese?
Feta cheese.
Okay.
In our version.
Okay.
And as we were approaching, our Macedonian guide, Philip, said, "Oh, I also want to let you know these shepherds that make the cheese that are keeping our Macedonian culture alive are Albanian." And
really?
My heart fluttered.
Okay.
And my husband, of course, needed to see what my face was, so he turned around.
Of course, a big smile.
And so, I wasn't expecting to be in Galichnik and have an Albanian encounter. And so that was even more special. And the Choban were there, and he was speaking in Macedonian to them, saying, "I have 2 hikers that would like to taste your cheese." And I immediately said "Mirdita" to them, and they were as happy as I was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And they brought us in, as Albanians do, brought us into their shepherd hut, made coffee for us, gave us raki, and
all the essentials.
All the essentials.
All the essentials, yeah.
And they were so happy to hear about us. And that moment in time was, I wish I could have stayed longer, because this moment keeps coming back to me. But they brought out the flute. They started performing.
Now I got to go and meet this family.
Yeah, not for us.
Let's go.
They weren't performing for us. They were performing because they were happy, and they were creating this feast atmosphere in just a normal day in the mountains, just because they had us over as guests. And one of the old men that was there said, that he sings, but he would never sing for a Shkodër because it's too much pressure.
That's cute.
And I said, "Well, if you know anything about Shkodër, we're about humor, so make me laugh. Even if you're not good at singing, we can at least laugh together." And he started singing, and it was this guttural lullaby that he remembered. And he said, "My mom used to sing this to me." And it was just so powerful and so beautiful that I wanted to cry, but I also wanted to be that strong female hiker in front of them. So I was very confused about letting go.
I would have cried.
Please tell me you recorded that thing.
I didn't.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You should have recorded it.
I know. I need to have the 2 of you next time we go around.
Yeah, we'll do a production out of it and make a short film. Yeah, Mall Entertainment.
Honestly, I felt like I was just in that moment.
Me
you
too.
see my eyes watering? Like, I could totally just imagine.
I can picture it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and the Macedonian guide, Philip and Justin, my husband, were completely the outsiders. So they were talking to each other in English and just sipping on their
you guys were just having your own
while
they're having their own experience too. So that's pretty cool,
watching us really enjoy each other and be happy. Yeah.
And now, just because we work with numbers, unfortunately, I have to ask, how much did this cost? This whole trip?
Our trip.
Yeah.
It's hiking long distance trails is much cheaper than
is it
luxury hotels?
Yeah, but I would still think there's some cost involved with that. No
cost. I talk about it in the book as well because I want it to be an invite to people, whether they want to do a 1 week.
If someone wants to do the same kind of similar journey, like how much would it cost roughly?
We got round trip tickets from Albania, rented a car in Albania, drove to Slovenia, and then made our way back.
All the way back, okay.
In order, the round trip is, of course, cheaper to do versus flying into Slovenia and flying out of Albania.
Right.
We also had a car with us because if you did 7 Balkan countries, it would take you about 8 months by foot. So we would get taxis back to the car, drive
to the next
country.
Destination.
Okay.
That's probably your biggest expense is just the flights and the car.
But where did you? So no hotel at all?
No hotels, just guest houses.
But how is this organized? Is this like a tour guide that actually? How do you find the people that gives you those tours and puts you in connection with?
We planned it ourselves.
Okay.
However, there are 3 long distance hikes that make up the Illyrian Way. One is Via Dinarica from Slovenia to Croatia to Bosnia to Montenegro to Albania. Another hike is called Peaks of Balkans, which is a circular hike, Kosovo, Montenegro, and Albania. And then High Skardist is the sort of the youngest long distance hiking trail. High Skardist Trail is Kosovo, North Macedonia, and Albania.
And those are through organized groups.
Organized groups.
You're not hiking on your own. You're with.
No, you are hiking on your own. The hikes are created by organized groups.
Got it.
Okay.
In order to provide tourism to the area, but also safe hiking to solo foreign hikers. And so they're part of they create the network. So once the trail is established, so the Via Dinarica trail is established, then it gives each village and mountaintop that's along that way an opportunity to host people.
Got it.
And to feed them and to provide additional tours if they stay. But long distance hikes.
So there is some type of organization you're saying that can guide you at least to who these people are and everything else.
Yeah, there are established routes that you can plan from your own computer because the websites, and I mentioned that in the book too, the websites for all 3 trails give you sort of like the kilometers per day that you should walk.
Okay.
How many guest houses are in each village.
Right,
and
so it'll give you like the
blueprint.
The blueprint, yeah.
And then you decide.
Somebody could just buy this book and they can almost mimic your journey.
Yeah. And do more or less of it.
Right.
However they
So it's
feel.
only three hikes, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to talk a little bit about Albanian roots in the diaspora. Many Albanians abroad, they struggle to stay connected with their heritage. We kind of touched upon that a little bit in the beginning because that basically was one of the reasons why you started this journey, to get back to your roots. What advice would you give to someone younger that's living abroad to just get back home?
So you said to get back home. So this is the precipice.
Okay, so home can be the actual location or home here in their heart.
Yeah. I would say that I spent way too much time thinking about the duality of it. Am I American or I'm Albanian? Versus embracing both. And embracing that new identity that comes from being both. I think there's a lot of pressure when you're younger that you feel to either go with one or the other versus embracing them both and saying, I can never be Dearta from Shkodër the way that my trajectory was when I lived there. I miss out every day on the culture, on the hang, on the humor that they create, right? And I'm now just a tourist and I'm a visitor. But I'm also not a tourist and a visitor in Connecticut or in the United States. So my home, or my version of home and my version of my identity, is a mix of the two without having to decide.
That's how I feel for myself. I'm second generation born here, but I'm 100% Albanian. Like, I'm just very connected, even though I've never physically lived there, but just in my heart, I know I'm Albanian. I feel Albanian. I know that's my roots. But at the same time, I am also American, and there's the way that I was brought up that is a little different than the people back home, and vice versa. The people here, I'm not 100% like my friends, right? Like, you still have that Albanian kind of upbringings and culture that kind of, like, for me, grounded me. So that's how I practice. Is like, I find myself to be an Albanian American. That's my identity. I'm both.
I'm curious, what are the 3 elements that you consider yourself Albanian?
For me,
is it cuisine or?
It's very interesting. It's everything. It's the language, it's the culture, it's the traditions. We just were at a wedding yesterday, and it, just everything about it. It's just a sense of community. So it's not anything more than, like, you can't really pinpoint it, because all of these little things, from the food to the music, everything,
language,
dancing, everything.
The proverbs, how you curse, like everything. It's this sense of community. There's things that we can say to each other in Albanian that people will be like, what? And if you translate them in English, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, what does that even mean?
The curses are pretty dark.
They're very dark. We could have a whole episode on just the curses and their meanings.
I do have a question for you, though. How do you see this book, The Illyrian Way, right, contributing to the broader conversation about the Albanian identity and culture on the global stage?
I've been overwhelmed by, like, the support and excitement that folks have had over this book already. People like you, right? This is why I'm here today. We talked on the phone about it.
You got us inspired, so now I want to go hiking.
And we're here. So I think that the Illyrian Way is just a very small element of what already exists in every country in the Western Balkans and Albania. And I hope that the diaspora and the natives of Western Balkans read it and see and can reflect back that they are this, and that we are very similar. And then I hope that my American friends and my European friends understand that we're a bit more than just the corrupt, poor, conflict-ridden area.
Gangsters.
Yeah. And the idea is for the Illyrian Way to add to what I believe is the upcoming Balkan Renaissance.
Okay, interesting.
And to just fan it a little bit more. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
You initially took this journey to find a sense of belonging. You had no intentions of writing a book. Tell us how it evolved from finding yourself to finding this book.
I didn't anticipate the similarities that I found between the Slavic ethnicities in the Western Balkans and the Albanian ethnicity.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please elaborate on that.
I grew up with narratives of Illyrians were Albanians. Albania was much larger. We are the righteous descendants of this nation, this country, this territory. I was called Teuta when I was being rambunctious when I was little. And so I know that, the Illyrian Way or the Albanian identity narratives well. What I didn't know well, because I never visited these countries, or if I did, it was as a beach tourist, not a mountain hiker.
Okay.
That their sense of pride about Illyrian identities, their sense of hard work for the lands that they take care of, is just as strong as ours, and that there's been centuries of us coexisting and living with one another, that I just found it very hard to draw the line where it's our cuisine or dance or culture versus theirs. And that gave me so much more joy and feeling of belonging in the Western Balkans.
So did you find really just the language was the main difference?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
With how I was treated, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go based on your experience
I only have my experience, so
Right.
I know.
I mean, they could have been Albanian too.
Yeah.
A long time ago, so we don't know.
I'm aware that Albanians living in Macedonia may have a different experience living there, not hiking there for just 3
Right.
months,
Right.
or Albanians in Montenegro, or Kosovars for sure, right? Or Albanians in Bosnia, but for me, based on my experience, I felt just as loved and cared for and worried for as I did when I was in Albanian host families.
And again, you are hiking, you're in nature, you're meeting people who are really embracing the universe, the nature, the land.
Well, real
the people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that aren't, corrupt in, just by politics and,
Yeah.
It goes back to what you were talking
Yeah.
about, how this journey, like not only was it physical, but it was emotional and it was spiritual. And when you get to that spiritual sense, you really can see clear of who people are. And at that point, when you're at that point of like clarity, you don't see the difference of people or language or color of their skin. You just see the energy of good and bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe there's two main personalities in this world, givers and takers.
Right.
Okay. That's a very simple way to put it.
And those in the mountains are givers.
They are givers.
They're givers to the land. They're givers to the animals, to everything.
Yeah. And perhaps I can posit because they are self-accountable to their family's protection or their livestock are growing. And so they're only interested in being happy and healthy and free with their family there. And they work hard for it. And so they only know to give because they are not accustomed to taking from anybody else because they produce it themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
This
Dearta,
is very interesting. Thank you so much.
You got us now all excited to go hiking and do this. I love everything about the book, the way that it's designed. Where can people find this if they want to learn more about the experience?
They can find it on the 27-press.com website, and it will be mailed straight to their home.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And are you guys planning on going back and exploring the area more and doing more of this type of
definitely
hiking?
Definitely.
Can you let us know?
We have the bug now,
Yeah.
especially the Illyrian Way bug.
Very interesting. Well, thank you very much. This was a pleasure to get to know you a little bit.
Just thanks for having me. And I'm so pumped that you found this story worthy of telling. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.